Hello, this is William Cooper. Welcome to Awakening Together, Relaxing into Happiness. I trust you're doing well today. You are a radiant, happy, deep, vibrant, peaceful, calm being. That's your nature, and you can't stop it. The most that we can do, and often do, is block it. We separate from ourselves. Why do we do this? Well, it's helpful for our society or our culture, perhaps. Have you ever blocked yourself by saying, I'll relax after I get the job done, or I'll be happy once I get that perfect car, or perfect house, or perfect relationship. I'll postpone until a certain time. To do that, to postpone our happiness, we have to block our happiness. Otherwise, we wouldn't be postponing it because we're happy all the time. At some point, that just doesn't make sense, and we stop doing that. That's called awakening. We stop living a separated life and simply live from who we are, happy, well-being, radiant, peaceful, and loving. That's who we are at the core. When somebody asked Ramana about awakening, he said, the only difference between you and me is I know that I'm awake, and you don't know that you are. I like neuro-linguistic programming's solution to this, and it's just a temporary one or a brief one, but what they might say is, you don't have to tell anybody, but picture what would most make you happy in this life. Imagine what it would feel like if you had it. You picture that. They say take it in, feel what it feels like, and that feels good. So you start to glow. And then they would ask you, okay, and now imagine and feel what it would feel like if you also received the thing that you want second most in life. And once you have, then they'd say, and third most. Well, that opens you up entirely. You start to glow and radiate and feel good. Why? Because your mind feels like it has now received what it was postponing your happiness for, and now that you've received it, it has no reason to postpone, and you feel good. You glow. You open up. You relax into your true nature, happiness. Ramana just decided never to postpone his happiness in the first place. That option is open for us. We can just be ourselves. We don't have to postpone and cut ourselves off. We can simply be happy and connected to all things, one, vibrant with the exchange between all of creation and ourselves as a happy, connected oneness being. How? Well, there are so many different ways. Almost every avenue in life leads us back to ourselves, and we've discussed this in so many ways in the past podcast. But for today, let's just say, on some level, when we stop a habit, we can just decide to stop a habit. We can just begin to affirm, conscious languaging, what our deepest truth is. Remember, conscious languaging, as we have talked about in a recent podcast, is when you're connecting to a truth inside of you that you can actually feel. That's the most powerful form of conscious languaging. I am happy. I am peace. I am love. Our being is peace and love and happiness, and we are flowing from that and connected to that. We're also connected to all the objects we have created and continue to create, such as our thoughts, our emotions, our tensions, and the group of all of these things in a personal sense is called our personality. We created these things, so we're connected to them as well as all of the rest of the objects in creation. Perhaps you've heard of solution-focused therapy. In solution-focused therapy, you focus on the solution. You focus on the positive, that which is vibrant and life-affirming. And the idea is, just like in a garden, anything you water grows, and anything you don't water dies off. So they water the positivity and don't water the negative things, the things that separate. Well, in awakening, we are flowing from our natural essence, happiness, well-being, peace, love, etc. So let's connect to that. Let's water that. Let's put our attention there. Let that be our primary attention. Let that become our primary habit of where we come from. Like Ramana said, I know I'm awake. You don't know that you are awake. That's the difference. He focused and came from his awakeness. And on some level, at some point, it simply becomes a decision. Yes, we become in touch with that part of us, but we also decide to affirm it and come from there. So that's something that we can do. But what if we're so cut off and we can't feel that goodness that's within us? Yes, I realize that there's lots in our world that we're connected to, both our goodness and all the objects that we've created, even when they're painful objects. So what I'm asking is take a moment, perhaps in meditation or walking in nature or whatever works for you, to connect to that which is good in you. Yes, you'll simultaneously feel all the painful stuff too. It's like a soup. And there's good, and in there are floating objects of pain and separation also at the same time. Well, right now I'd like you to focus on the goodness in the soup, the well-being and the happiness. Just find it and rest there for a moment. Even if you feel the other stuff, let's come from what is you, because that part, what is you, will never leave. What will melt away is all the other chunks in the soup, all the other pains. How will they melt away? Well, perhaps you remember another podcast we did entitled Coherence Therapy. And what we discussed in that podcast was that when you come from a place of depth and wholeness and power, which is the nature of yourself, the goodness, the well-being, when you come from there and at the same time you experience something that's discordant, something that's separating, something that's painful, the stronger of the two will win out. The weaker one will melt into the stronger one. And separation, since it's a made-up thing, will always melt into the consciousness of which it's made. Everything is made of consciousness, and all consciousness feels good and happy and peaceful. So the pain will melt into the goodness. And the way that that happens is when you come from your solution-oriented, deep, good place, everything that's not that will also jump to the forefront to try to continue to separate you, because after all, that's your old habit of separation. It will try to, and you'll see both sides of it. And to see is to be free, because as you come from your wholeness, everything that's not that begins to wind down and expend its energy and melt away. That's what we call meditation anyway, whether we're doing it in a formal way, sitting down, or just going through life, but staying as awareness, aware of all that we think and feel and emote. You'll notice that underneath every thought is an emotion. That's what's motivating the thought, because you don't want to feel the painful emotion, so you're looking for a solution. And underneath every emotion is a tension, and that tension is the functional aspect that's separating you from your being. It walls you off, and that's something that we definitely don't want to feel. But in awareness, they all can melt away, like an ice cube in the hot sun of awareness, until all that's left is the vibrant, awakened you. Okay, I've enjoyed it. I look forward to talking with you next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, this is William. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please consider sharing it with somebody else. Send them a link. Thanks so much.